Hi, this is Terry Healy bringing you some extraordinary transformation. I want to thank everybody who's tuning in. You're listening to WVLP at 103.1 FM, also live streaming at WVLP.org. Today's show is brought to you by Ryan Eberhardt from Diamond Residential Mortgage. Don't assume all mortgage companies are the same or loan officers, because they're not. Ryan has a deep concern for his clients and their families and their pocketbooks. If you need some mortgage financing, you can find him in Valparaiso on Route 30. His office is at 350 Northland Drive, and his direct phone line is area code 219-707-8429. Ryan, as always, thank you so much for supporting community radio and supporting our show. Today I have guests and an organization that I have no familiarity with, so this is going to be very educational and enlightening for everyone listening. I have the privilege to be interviewing Victor Garcia and Nupur Arora, and they are from the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana. We're right here in Maryville, right on Broadway. If you haven't passed the building, it was eye-opening to me to come by and come in. Thank you guys.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So when I said I don't know anything about your organization, I was very serious, and I don't do any prep work in advance, and I think that I have quite a few listeners in the same position. So if somebody could chime in, just let us know what it is you're up to, what you're doing out here in the community.
Well, we are the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana, the only food bank in the region that serves Lake and Porter County. Mm-hmm. And we were established in 1982, and we were in a red barn in Gary on 35th Street, and that was our home for 26 years.
Oh, wow.
In June of 2018, we moved to this location in Maryville, which was transformational. Yeah. It was a big move, a big change, because at the barn we were limited in our capacity. In 2017 we did 4.5 million meals from there, and the estimated need in the region was 17 million. So there was an urgency to get out and get into a place that was bigger, that could stock more, distribute more. And we had bought this facility in Maryville. The move was pending. And June of 18, we moved here. We have a lot more space. It's 6 times the size. So we can take in more food and distribute more. And Victor has the numbers from 2019. We just wrapped that up.
We did, yes. So we're really excited. So in 2018, we had a record year because we were partially operating out of this facility and did around 4.8 million pounds of food. So what does that mean? That's about 4 million meals.
Wow.
Of food that went out through our doors. But in 2019, because we had our full operations here for the year, we were able to find those efficiencies in our organization. We did 6.1 million pounds of food. So that equates to just under 5 million meals. Mm-hmm. So it's really great to see the work that we're doing here. One of the key aspects to this facility, though, is that we have space to do some unique programming. Mm-hmm. So as Nupur mentioned, the need in our community is 17 million pounds. We're putting out 6.1 million, so there's still a lot of room for growth. So what we're trying to do is create new programs with partner agencies so that we can help people be self-sustainable, so we can decrease the need while we're increasing the amount of food going out into the community.
Interesting. Can you, just a little bit of insight, how do you do that?
Sure. Go ahead.
So Victor said the partner agencies, so we have 110 of them. And these are pantries, soup kitchens, and churches.
Okay.
So we distribute food into the community through them, and also through our mobile markets. So every Wednesday we have a different location that we go out to, so the truck loads up with food and we distribute. And every other Friday and every other Saturday, the food bank, this Maryville location, is a distribution center. And when we distribute from here, we have seen between 500 and 600 individuals come through the door to get food. The response has been enormous from the first time we did it from this location, which was sometime in September this year. Wow. Last year, 19.
Right. It's, I have to tell you, it's mind-boggling.
It is, and actually if you see some of the numbers that we put out there, close to 93,000 people are food insecure, and that means they do not know where their next meal is coming from.
Yeah.
And that is 1 in 7 of our neighbors.
Right.
So when I look at it, think about it, just knowing where I am at, and 1 in 7 of my neighbors may be food insecure, it stirs up the conscience.
Sure.
1 in 5 of them could be kids. 1 in
Sure.
12 would be seniors. Now we have different programs. Our mobile distributions is one through our partner agencies. We also have the backpack program for kids and the summer food service program
Oh,
where we serve children.
okay.
And we have the senior program where we serve seniors. In our senior program, we're close to 1,400 seniors, which is the largest in the state.
Wow.
With our backpack program, it's 200 to 300 kids that we serve, and both these programs are going to grow
Yeah.
because now we have the capacity to take in more food,
Mhm.
have the inventory, and turn it around.
Right.
So this location, this new facility has broadened our horizon, and the potential is unlimited. And that is what is very exciting, because when I joined the barn in February of 17, we were so limited in space, and that facility was kind of breaking. It was leaking and flooding at the same time when I interviewed, and the warehouse environment was just too scary, so I had turned them down. But when I read about their programs and heard about it at a SURE meeting, I reconsidered. So the next time around, when I said, you know what, I want to talk more, I was shown this facility, and it just came to life how we could do so much more from here.
Yeah.
And then the transition, and it's like a dream come true, that we've moved, we are here, we have a great team, everybody's so passionate, we want to do more, we're doing more, and it just continues to grow.
And there's no way to outgrow this?
There's absolutely a way to outgrow this. Now, fortunately, we have 4 acres of property behind us,
Okay.
which the long-term goal is to build into a community garden. But
Oh, yeah.
if we had unlimited resources and things are going great, we would have plenty of space to grow. But I'll be honest with you, part of what we're trying to do here is go out of business, right? We don't want to exist, and that means that people aren't hungry. That's the end goal. So in addition to working with our pantries and soup kitchens and doing food distributions, we're also looking to work and partner with other nonprofits throughout Lake and Porter County to create that transformational generational change that's going to help people be self-sustainable. So looking at things like job training programs, getting people access to health care, doing supportive services. And a part of our space, again, we have 72,000 square feet in our warehouse. We're looking to build a community cafe, which is, picture an upscale coffee shop like Uptown or Sip or Grindhouse Cafe, something like that. But it's open regardless of ability to pay. So you could come in and get your sandwich and coffee and pay whatever you want to pay, but
Yeah.
if you can't really afford it, you can still get your sandwich and coffee. And so we can
Right.
feed people that way. But the unique thing with the community cafe concept is that the kitchen is run by people that we can identify that need some additional supports,
Right.
teach them how to work in a cafe and food service setting, get them a Serve Safe certification, help them move on to a culinary program at Ivy Tech, or help them with our access of our network and get them a job so that they can become self-sustainable. Because again, as I mentioned, what we're trying to do here is reduce the amount of people that need support while we're increasing the food that we can put out there. Now, the advantage with this space is once we have our kitchen up and running, which we don't yet, we're not there yet, this is down the way a little bit, but we can also do educational events and talk about proper nutrition and talk about the importance of nutrition and cooking. And one of the great things is, I mentioned that 4 acres of property we have behind us. Once we get that garden going, we can use that produce in our own cafe and go farm to table.
Yes. And I think you'll be able to produce a tremendous amount. I mean, I had interviewed Portage Community Garden, and they talked about how many pounds of food they donate.
And
So
a lot of
there.
this work gets done because of our volunteers.
Yeah.
You know, we have a limited staff, generally between 23 and 25 individuals, and we are
Okay.
all wearing multiple hats at different times.
Right.
So if it was not for our volunteers, we would not be able to make such an impact. So hats off to all those people who come through these doors every day and help us pack those boxes, distribute those meals, and one day help us grow our vegetables and help us
Right. Or
cook
teach,
them and
teach people how to
distribute them
do
or
it.
teach people how to do it.
Right.
So we couldn't have done it without them. And the last numbers,
It's over 4,000. So
over 4,000.
now these are duplicated numbers, but we had 4,220 volunteers in 2019, providing over 14,000 hours of service. We cannot do what we're doing here without that
them.
support.
Right.
And a lot of that is driven on not only the events we do on site, as Nupur had mentioned, our mobile marketplace is one way that we distribute food. That is done usually on Wednesdays with a partner site, and we go out into the community, we bring a truck of food. That partner will then provide volunteers to do the distribution. We normally see about 200 to 400 people at those events. But every week, either every other Friday or every other Saturday, we're here on site. And so we need volunteers here to put on those distributions because those are the ones where we're seeing a lot more people, between 500 and 700 people in a given week. So we really rely on the support of volunteers, as Nupur mentioned. We run very lean. We have a nice sized facility, but there's not a lot of us on staff, and she's right, we do have to wear a lot of hats. We have to be cross-trained. Matter of fact, in the coming weeks here, I'm getting trained for forklift operators so that even if something happens on a weekend and something needs to get moved, I actually can do that. So, and it's not just me, there's other members of the management team that just need to be cross-trained, because when something happens, it's all hands on deck.
Right. Well, I think that's probably pretty common. A lot of them.
Indeed.
So that's good to know. So everybody listening, if you've got extra time, it sounds like there's lots of different places that you can come in and support the organization. So
absolutely.
How would somebody contact you if they wanted to explore volunteer opportunities?
So on our website.
Okay.
We have a page. Just sign up on that page, and Jamie Welborn is our volunteer coordinator. She gets all those emails and she schedules everything and manages all the projects. And she does it with a lot of passion. Her heart is there.
It's gotta be. You can't walk in this world and none of your heart there.
Yes.
And then how about what is the web address?
It's www.foodbanknwi.org.
Okay, got it.
There's a volunteer page. It's really easy. You just put in your information. That puts you into our database. Jamie will be the one contacting you because Jamie's the volunteer coordinator and she's the only one. But those of you listening or watching, you'll get a chance to interact with Jamie, and she is spectacular. I promise you'll enjoy your experience volunteering here at the food bank.
Very much.
Well, it can't be too bad because if you keep getting all these volunteers,
right?
It can't be a lot of one and done. But like you said, a little overlap there or duplication. So I'm sure volunteers, and I know cash is always king and always welcome in different places. If somebody wanted to just make a charitable donation to your organization,
again through our website, foodbanknwi.org, that's the place to go. We have a donation page, and every dollar we help raise helps provide 3 meals. So there's a lot we can do with the donations. We are just getting wrapped up with our capital campaign. Our facility needs help. Our roof is leaking. Our parking lot needs help. Our floors where we distribute food need some TLC. So every dollar that we get will be put to good use. And you can see the transformation. When you donate, you can come see where those dollars were used.
That's nice to see.
And we have a donor wall where we appreciate our donors. There's a little leaf that goes up on the wall,
saw that
which we hope will wrap around along the walls of the building someday. Right now it's in our newly constructed lobby. This lobby was constructed in May of this year.
Okay.
May 17th was the ribbon cutting. So
that's exciting. And there's lots of room for more leaves, just to tell you.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. There's lots of room for more leaves.
Yes, like I say, we've come a long way. When I look at the barn and look at the old picture in the corner in the lobby, we've come a long way, but there is a long, long way to go. A lot of good work to be done, and it's not a one-man show. It cannot be done alone.
No.
We need the community to collaborate with us through our partner agencies, through the IMAs and the IACCs and all the other wonderful organizations in the community. And our tagline is rooted in community. So we can't do it without community support. Yeah. And we look forward for that in the coming months and years.
So now, Nupur did mention that $1 provides 3 meals.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to shed some light on that.
Good,
if that's okay.
I was like,
Sure. So a lot of people don't realize what food banks do.
Yeah.
So we source food and then distribute food. So while we sometimes do our mobile market distributions and we do our distributions on site, we really rely on our partner agencies to get the food out. Now what we do is we take the product that partner pantries, partner soup kitchens are going to put out into the community. We can deliver it to them, but then every single day, our drivers are going out to our retail partners to pick up donated product. That's how we're able to get that cost savings and be able to provide 3 meals for every dollar. So picture, if you will, you're at your favorite Strachan Van Til or Town and Country or Meijer or Walmart or Target, or wherever you're going, all of our friends that are out in the community. And you've looked in the corner and there's the day old donuts or the bread or the meat's got the discounted meat.
Mm-hmm.
That product that doesn't go, we try to salvage that product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we bring that onto our trucks, we bring them back to the warehouse, check them for safety. We have a freezer cooler area so we can take care of that product, whether it's produce or bread or proteins. And then we let our partner agencies know what we have available for them and that we were able to get that out.
Wow.
So that's how we're able to mitigate. Now, in addition to that, because we're part of the Feeding America network, we have access to other donated product, and all we have to pay for is freight. Mm-hmm. So, for example, we're able to source a truckload of chicken for around $500. So even if you wanted to get 18, 20 pallets worth of chicken, it'd be a lot more than $500
Sure.
if you as a donor tried to get that. Even at wholesale prices, you wouldn't be able to get that.
Right.
We have access to that, and that's why we're able to do so much with our donor dollar. It's also why money is so critical to our operations, because we love our food drives. We appreciate when people want to bring food into the food bank. We will get that out. We need that. We thrive on it. But the dollars generate so much more because we can go so much further with that donor dollar and really have a significant impact on how much food is getting out into the community.
That is absolutely amazing. And then, like, you really get it. I mean, just how you described it, the translation of, like, if I wanted to do something, what I could get with $1 versus what you could get with $1 is like night and day.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. And it's fun to see those of us who enjoy cooking as a hobby and thinking, how in the world do you make 3 meals with $1?
I know.
This is how. And it's unique as an outsider, not really realizing what the food bank does. That our core mission is not necessarily getting food to individuals. It's getting food to partners who get food to individuals. We do the warehousing and distribution here for the most part. Now, having said that, since we've been doing our mobile markets, especially on site, we've significantly increased our mobile markets, and this is 2019 information I have here. We served over 70,000 individuals in 2019 with our own mobile market distributions, but our partner agencies did 184,000 individuals. So that kind of sheds some light on, yes, it's critical that we do our own distributions, but our core business, our core mission is to make sure we're working with our partner agencies and soup kitchens.
Sure, because look at the reach.
Right.
That's 250,000 people.
Yeah.
It just in 2 counties. So your partners and all of that that's still Lake and Porter
Lake
County.
and Porter County.
It's just disheartening that there's such a need. Is what I'm present to. I mean, in this day and age, and and we're not in a recession. I mean, like, it's not like it's an economic thing.
Things are good right now.
Yeah, things are good.
And when there is an economic downturn, things are going to get harder because, one, there's going to be more people who need support, who need that helping hand.
Right.
But there's going to be less donors out there available to help us meet that need. So we are very mindful of being good stewards of our donor dollar and understanding that we have to weather those economic downturns because there's going to be significant pressures on our organization when things go down. And look, the economy's cyclical. It's going to happen. It's only a matter of time before we take a little bit of a dip, before things go back up. That always happens. Our friends who are economists can tell us that. So we need to be prepared for that. And that's why you see us constantly putting on events or asking for fundraising. I know our Facebook page recently had information out because a lot of people don't realize even the small costs that go into putting food out into the community. Our senior box program is geared for seniors who are around 130, 135% of the poverty level or below, who may not have access to food. We get them a pound of 30 to 40 pounds of box of 30 to 40 pounds of food every month. There's no expense to that. It is a federal program run through the state. We manage it for Lake and Porter County. But here's the catch. the box costs around $1. It's around 82 cents. So it's an expense that people don't think about as not only the food, but we also need the box to put it in and the truck to load it onto to get it out into the community, which a truck has to stay cold so it's refrigerated. You know, a refrigerated truck on average costs around $2.40 or so per mile just to operate. So there's a lot of moving parts just to meet the needs that we're not even, to Nupur's point early in this interview, we're not even meeting the 17 million pounds of food that our community needs. So it's exciting, and the wonderful thing about our facility here is we have the opportunities. And with partners, volunteer partners, donor partners, our partner agencies, we can meet those opportunities, but there's always going to be more work to do.
Well, and I guess it's like, which is the worst problem to have. It's kind of what my heart says. And it was actually the social media where you guys were looking for some financial contributions that caught my eye. That's what I went, oh, look, that might be something that I want to go shed some light on and point an arrow at. But aside from that, I mean, do you have major fundraisers? I know you've given me some upcoming events coming up this year.
So the major ones are the soiree, which now is on June 14th. It will be, we changed the location this year, so I think the information is on our website.
It is. It's going to be here at the Food Bank.
At the Food Bank.
Ooh.
That's our one big one.
Okay.
June 14th, that is Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. It's called the soiree.
Okay.
And then the Hunger Hike is another big event that we do, and it's at the Hidden Lake Park on Saturday, September 19th. So these are our two big ones, but we also have the Slam Dunk Hunger on March 20th, Ride the Region on September 5th, Chamber After Hours and Giving Tuesday. And all these events are on our website.
Okay.
Once again, that's foodbanknwi.org. We do the Strack and Mantle Checkout Challenge towards the end of the year, and this runs through the months of November and December, where the Strack and Mantle customers are asked to round up their dollars.
Right.
So a few cents, like 3 cents, 4 cents, 10 cents, they add up. And this year was 2019 was a record-breaking year. We had close to 195,000 raised. From
rounding up
from
on groceries.
Rounding up.
You heard that right.
Oh my, that's like, I just am just shocked.
Yes, it's amazing. It's amazing, and a big thank you to Strack and Mantle and their customers and their cashiers who did a great job of asking, and the customers for rounding, and the corporate for letting us do it. So a big thank you to Strack and Mantle. They are our premier partners, and we appreciate the checkout challenge very much. It helps us in a big way every year.
Indeed. And our events are a lot of fun. Again, as Nupur mentioned, you can get more information on our website or on Facebook. Our Facebook page has events for each of them. Next coming up, the Slam Dunk for Hunger will be at Long Shots in Cherville. So that's just an opportunity to enjoy March Madness and have some tasty bar food and a beverage of your choice, while knowing that you're raising a little money for the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana and having an opportunity to network with others who are passionate about ending hunger in our community. But I did want to mention the two major events being the soiree and the Hunger Hike. The Hunger Hike is a walk or run that's designed for our partner agencies to be able to generate funds to help pay for some of the costs of having their pantry or soup kitchen. But the general public can also join this event and raise money for that pantry or soup kitchen they may care about, or raise money for the food bank if they prefer. But it's a great event that we host on behalf of our agencies, our partner pantries and soup kitchens. One thing we're changing this year is our backpack program that's aimed at children who are qualified for a free and reduced lunch. One of the challenges that we have is if we have a long recess, such as holiday break or a long weekend, sometimes kids might not have access to food because school's out of session. Right. So the backpack program is designed to get at least some snacks so that there is some food going home with the child. It's a very expensive program to operate. And so one of the things we're changing to the Hunger Hike this year is allowing our school partners to also participate so that they can raise money, whether it's the PTO or the community or a faith group that wants to raise money for their school partnership to help subsidize the cost of the backpack program. Nupur and I were recently going through those numbers, and I can tell you it's between $400 and $500 a child to provide that program. So it is a costly program, but it's a necessary program because kids shouldn't go hungry. Right. Now the soiree is really cool. It's a nice, fancy, elegant event where we have local chefs come out and make tastings, and you get to taste them all and vote for your favorite one and enjoy the time. We have live music at the event, but new this year at the soiree is the event will be hosted here at the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana. We're really excited to be hosting our events, most of which are going to be here in-house at our site. And it gives us an opportunity to not only show off our facility and some of the space we have, but it also gives us an opportunity to let people see the warehouse and see all of what's going on here at the food bank.
Yeah, well, I mean, you walk into the foyer and you're just, this is a big operation. That was the feeling I got when I walked in.
Well, you should see the rest of the warehouse. My mom and dad were visiting from India, and my dad is a computer engineer, never been in a warehouse environment. Just like I was overwhelmed when I walked through the warehouse in the barn. So I gave them a tour, and at the end of it, he had tears in his eyes. He's like, how do you do it with 25 people? You need 2,500. Look at these mounds and mounds of food, and he's not used to the pallets and the racking, and he was just amazed. So a layman who doesn't understand how this works makes a big impact.
Sure, I love that.
Yes, and when I stood there and said, we actually drew with chalk on the floor to visualize what our rooms would look like and what we would put where. He's like, really? You should have been an architect or something. I'm like, no, I'm good drawing on the floor. Right. With chalk.
You have other gifts that are being tapped.
Yes, what do? You do what you can with what you have.
Yeah, you do.
And we had the building, and that's all we had. And all of us, actually, the entire team walked the floors and drew on the floors and visualized doors and windows and desks and stood in the space and said, we should bump it out a little more because these walls seem very close. And that's how we did it, and it's come out beautiful.
It really is. I'm looking forward to touring it.
And there's so much more that we can do.
You'll see me at the soiree.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, I'll be there. No, I don't say that lightly. So, do you sell tickets for that? Do you sell tables for that? How do you?
Both. There's sponsorships available now for all of our events. The soiree, you can certainly purchase sponsorship or individual tickets. And that is all available on our website. So we try and make it as easy as possible to participate in our events. And it's funny. Just recently we had our soup bowl event. Okay. So so picture soup, and it was very similar to a chili cook-off, except it was different types of soup. And we had around 100 people come out, and 12 different soups that were provided by our board members or friends of the food bank. But it was a great event, and one of the unique things about the event that really stuck with me is we had a lot of people who weren't exposed to the food bank and didn't know about what we do here, and they asked for tours. And so I spent a lot of the event time actually taking people around our facility and sharing about what we do here, how we do it, the different programs like our summer feeding program for kids, or the senior box program, or the importance of, people see all this food and ask, well, how did you get this? And explaining the temporary emergency food assistance program, and explaining the trade mitigation program, and all the different ways that we source food, and showing them, you see all this food here, this is all food that came from local retailers that we just got yesterday. Sometimes, I gotta tell you this story, I went out on a ride with one of our drivers. We sent 17,000 pounds of product to one of our larger partner agencies. So we went out in the morning, dropped all that product off. It took a handful of hours to do that, but we got that done. But then we took a route and picked up 1,400 pounds of rescued product that we were able to bring back here.
Nice.
We were back here at the warehouse around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. By 4 o'clock, that product was right back out the door. And that's one of the things that we can do here, because our old barn had no docks. So everything coming in and out was by hand. Here we have not only docks for the food coming in that we're bringing or our vendors are bringing to us, But we also have a dock for our partner agencies. If they're picking up product from us, they can just come right in. We have a nice waiting area while we're picking their product, and we get them out the door as quickly as possible.
I love what you're up to, without a doubt. A question comes up to mind. This I'm going to head down a different direction with you guys, if you don't mind. Is, do you know the backstory or what started this? I mean, how did somebody decide to do this out of a red barn?
From what I've heard, it was a farmer and his wife that donated their space to the food bank, which was at that time being run out of a church. It was a very small program.
Okay.
And it was their heart. They donated the land and the building, the barn as we called it. It was pieced together in little pieces. So we had the administrative wing, and then a little tunnel going into the warehouse space, and another little tunnel going into the volunteer space, and then tunnel after tunnel.
Right.
So it was pieced together, and out of that we were doing 4.5 million meals. So the dedication and passion of the staff, and some of our staff are veterans. They've been here like 10 plus years.
Yeah. And
they continue to go strong, and it is just amazing. I might not have all the answers, but they do, because they've seen it all, and they continue to make a difference every day.
I love that you have vision for expansion, without a doubt. But I just keep coming back to, and I'm intrigued by that you want to create a solution to the problem.
We do, and go ahead.
Yeah, it's something I'm passionate about, is creating generational change in Northwest Indiana. One of the issues, and I don't know if you're familiar with the term ACEs, but that's adverse childhood experiences.
No.
Adverse childhood experiences are a very real thing, and the more adverse experiences a child has, the more impact it's going to have on them later in life. One of those ACEs is food insecurity. Because there's nothing new here. We all know what it feels like to be hungry. The difference can be is, do you have the resources to meet that need?
Correct.
And sometimes you just need help for a little bit. We're really excited. We recently did an event and partnered with Frank Mervan over in North Township Trustee, and we had some union workers who were recently laid off. Well, they don't really qualify for traditional public assistance. So we worked with Frank and used our purchasing power to get some food to just help for a little bit. And it's important for me to share, because it's not just what sometimes we have in our head on what people who are hungry are.
Right.
All of us are always hungry. Again, it goes back to, do you have that resource today to meet that need? You might not have it today, but you'll have it tomorrow. And that's okay. And that's why I really want to spend some time building those partnerships up with other nonprofits throughout Lake and Porter County, so that we can not try and recreate the wheel, but leverage the experiences and expertises that we each have, so that we can serve the community as a whole, as opposed to putting Band-Aids on and saying, well, I know you're hungry, I'm going to get you some food. Well, I know you're hungry, let's get you some food, but let's also help you with, do you have mental health issues? Are you a veteran and you need access to health care and you're not trusting of the system? Do you need to understand how to enroll for SNAP benefits? Do you need help getting, okay, you've got a job, but maybe you're hitting a wall on getting a promotion, or you need to do a career change? It's not just one thing. It's really serving the individual, the family, everybody as a whole, and we can only do that if we're working together with other nonprofits that are serving our community, because we don't have the resources to do case management on our own here, or to do mental health services here, or anything else. But we know who can do those things, and so let's connect the dots here. And that's really what we're looking to do with our facility, because we have a lot of space. And one of the things we're working on here shortly is identifying a way that we can do some perhaps job training and lead that into our mobile market distribution on site. So we can house an area here in our facility, do some training, and then go right into food distribution, so that we're seamless here, because we know, transportation's an issue in Lake and Porter County, right? So if we can mitigate at least a little bit of that transportation barrier and help get access to much needed services by combining them into one location, if the food bank is that location, or if it's us taking our food on the road with mobile market and taking a truck and partnering with somebody that can do other services, we're all for it. The fun thing about us here at the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana is show us a challenge, we'll gladly meet it.
Absolutely.
That in and of itself is a challenge. I mean, listen to that.
No,
That's
absolutely,
big.
and I can speak to that. Victor just pulled my heartstring. When I joined in February of 17, I was responsible for HR, finance, and administration because I was coming in as the director of business administration. But one of my top priorities and projects was get us out of the barn.
Oh, sure.
Now, how do you do
That's
that?
huge.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
You have to start from the start.
Right.
And thankfully, we have a very supportive board. Even then, we had a very supportive board. Some members have moved on, and a facility committee to consult and counsel with. Very supportive members and a very supportive team. So when it came up to me, get us out of the barn. I'm like, okay, let's make a roadmap. Let's take the next step. And looking back, in a year, we did get out of the barn.
Yeah.
From the time we actually took on the responsibility to the time that we were out and here was just 12 months.
That's amazing.
So how did we do it? We did still need an architect to design our operations offices. So we had one who rented his services, for much less his market cost.
Sure.
We had Midwest Refrigeration do our freezer coolers, which were like 5,000 square feet, huge.
Yeah.
And much, much bigger than what we had at the barn. CSK Architects were our architects. So we had vendors. Fred Doppler did our building. We had people who stepped up and who did the best they could with us. And we were able to accomplish such a big feat. Otherwise, how would we do it alone? How would I do it? I remember there was an essay I had to write, do you have construction experience? And I said, I've only finished 2 basements in my house. That's about it.
But that's a little experience.
Yes, so when I met with Dan Moser, he's such an awesome individual, wonderful person at People's Bank, our loan officer. He asked me that question, and I said, I've done 2 basements, but I can do project management. And I will go through the RFP process, and he laid out the steps. And I repeated it to him. I said, you know what, Dan, I've got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what we will do. And if I don't do it, hold me accountable. Ask me why. Yeah. And we did it. So without him believing in us, or without Bob Lowry, who also is at People's Bank, he was our treasurer then, is president now. Without them believing in us and believing in our wild dreams, we could not have made this happen. Wow. But we did. And there was a need for it. There was a need in the community,
Without question.
Otherwise, we would have to wait for those $1 million to be raised to be able to make that transition happen, and that would have taken time.
That would have taken a lot,
yeah. We wouldn't have moved from the 4.5 million to the 6.1 million number so quickly. But we took up the challenge and we did it. So bring us a challenge and we will do it.
And the challenge right now is our roof leaks.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and that is hindering our ability to increase capacity. Because we have so many issues with our roof leaking, there's significant portions of our warehouse that we cannot store food for obvious reasons. And so that is the most critical, significant financial concern we have at the moment, because we can do so much more if we have full access to our building, and at the moment we don't.
I did not notice when I drove up, because usually I'm pretty observant. Is it a rubber roof or is it a shingle roof?
Both.
Okay.
So part of this facility has a flat roof, which would be a rubber roof, and part is not, and it has a more traditional roof. So that's what we're looking for at the moment, is just support in helping us fix this roof and make it right, because we all know, just like our own homes, if you have something that critical like a roof leaking, eventually the walls are going to come down. Eventually, it
compromises the structure.
Everything is, and not to mention, with a facility like this, we need to make sure that we are keeping the highest of standards here. Which, fortunately, our AIB audit that we recently had certified that we are keeping those highest of standards. So we're really excited, but we need to keep that, and that is very important to us. Because not only are we wanting to be good donors of our good stewards of our donor dollar, we want to be good stewards of our food donors as well. So it's very critical to us that we get this fixed and get it fixed right away.
Well, and I know a little bit of construction, maybe not as much as you during your basements, but what I know is it's weather related. So I'm connected to quite a few contractors in other walks, but so we kind of have to wait until we have a good conducive weather environment to lay shingle, or to have somebody up there replacing or repairing the flat roof system. But yes, good to know. Everyone kind of check your resources, because what a wonderful way to give back in a way that you can, and maybe that's what you can do. You know, you can't come and help pass out food or deliver it or load it, but you can come in and tear off and reshingle a roof for a day.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. That's an easy one for me. I'm pretty tentacled in that area, so that'll be a good one. I have to tell you, I'm speechless. Just the magnanimity of what you guys are doing. It had absolutely no idea everything that you're up to, all the ways that you're touching lives, and the ways that and the intentions that you have, and I love that if somebody presents you with a challenge, you just say, let's do it, let's roll the shirt sleeves and make that happen.
Bring it on.
Yeah. Versus let's talk about it. No, it's like let's talk about how to do it. Now let's talk about if it's going to be a fit or if it's going to work. I'm curious to get more information, and I'll be doing my own double checking in the next few days about how you're helping change. Like, I think you and I share that same commitment. How do you change the conversation, not in what's happening, but why it's happening? How do you shift that, turn that boat around? Let's get that change for the better, and in ways that I can help bring contribution besides just enjoying the soiree and the live music. When that gets a little closer, though, circle back to me if you can remember, but there are some wonderful organizations locally here that promote local music. So if you said you're going to have live music, I was like, ding, 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 ding. I know a place where we can get a lot of audience for that. So
great.
I'd like to do it well in advance so we get the tickets sold, and wouldn't it be neat to not have enough chairs for all the people?
Yes, that's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
We would love to have limits to our space, which I gotta tell you, our space that we use for events is about the size of our old barn. So it's also a great story to share that when you're here in this part of our warehouse, it's a good visual to realize this is about what the old food bank used to look like in terms of space and square footage. So
right. Is there a way, like if somebody were to contribute some of their work efforts, that there's a way of acknowledging them as well? Because I know people like to be acknowledged.
Yes, we do that all the time on our Facebook page, and with the letter, donor letter, and
I gotta mention, I'm sorry to interrupt, Nupur, but so we have a lot of giving people in Northwest Indiana.
We do.
We have a lot of people who send in donations.
Yeah.
But I can also tell you that every single person who donates to the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana gets a letter recognizing that donation from 25 cents up to $250,000, whatever it might be. Yeah. Everybody's going to get recognized. And I can personally tell you, I do sign each and every single one of those letters.
Wow.
So if you get that letter from the food bank, thank you. You'll notice it has my signature in green ink on purpose so that you know that we took the time to say thank you, because it is too hard for us to sometimes make that personal connection because there's so many people. But we truly need that support and are so thankful of the trust you're putting into us and our organization to do the right thing with that donation. Right. But yes, it's we do our best to acknowledge. We have groups from offices that come in and volunteer and give us a $100 check. We have groups that use this room that we're in now for a meeting and write us a $2,500 check.
Ooh.
We have people who send in $1 or $2. We try and make a big deal out of every donation on our social media channels. And then our significant investment partners who have put a lot of resources into getting us into this building and making sure our operations stay afloat are, as we mentioned, acknowledged here on our site through our leaves and our donor recognition wall.
And I'm going to look forward to the day that we come in and it's wrapping around the building.
Me too.
Yeah, that's it. And I all of it's just like amazing to me. The fact that you got in here and functioning in 12 months is beyond belief to me. That's like a miracle. That's like too many things fell into place. and a
They
bigger
did,
conversation than
and
us.
it was
so.
almost like looking back as if it was meant to be.
That's what I felt. So it was like
Yeah.
bam, 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 bam. Everybody lining up. The support you had, the people you had.
Yes, and the
Um,
community is recognizing it. I believe we connected on Facebook when Lake Area
Mhm.
United Way posted on their page the award that I won.
That's how I saw you.
Yes, that's
Thank
how
you
we-
for the reminder.
I wanted to bring it up because it means a lot.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me because the community is recognizing our efforts
Yeah.
and is with us in our mission. That's how I
Right.
feel about it.
Right.
So not only did the Lake Area United Way recognize the efforts, but also the Northwest Indiana Influential Women Association. That
Very
was
nice.
the NWI IWA was 2019 September, and then United Way was December, and they put it on their Facebook page. We shared it, and more people found out. That's how I found you, and you found me. And little words like that. The social media is a powerful platform. Our checkout challenge, we posted on that. People connected. People responded. So it makes a big difference. A big difference when you're recognized, when you're appreciated, when people ask you, "What are you doing? What can you do more? What is the next challenge you're ready to take?"
Right.
It just, for me, that's my motivation. That's what I thrive on, Bring
Yeah.
it on, and we will get it done. We have a great team of very passionate people. That's one of the first things Victor said when he joined, that the staff here is very passionate.
Mhm.
And I said, yes, everybody's here for the mission and to make a difference.
Yeah.
What little thing can you do to make it better tomorrow? And we're doing it.
And I think when you come from that intention, when you come from that space, you attract that to you.
I think you do, and I think that's what happened. Otherwise, sometimes it seems unreal, when I look back. I was very happy working. I was at the Indiana Dunes Tourism Visitor Center as the operations director, and I was having a great time,
Yeah.
It was a fun place with all these 100,000 visitors at that time. Now it's grown, and suddenly the food bank falls on my plate, and I'm like, okay.
Time to move over there.
But it seems unreal that it's turned out the way it did. But
Yeah.
probably it was meant to be.
I don't doubt that.
And
Well,
that's why it did.
the world according to Terry. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are no accidents in the world according to Terry.
Well, and the nice thing is passion does breed passion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Excitement breeds excitement,
Mhm.
and it's fun to work in an environment where the entire staff are passionate about the work that they do. They're not here just to collect a paycheck. They're here to serve a mission, and that passion is infectious.
It is.
And it gets to our partners, and it gets to our supporters. It gets to anybody that gets within the circle, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that I love about being a part of this organization.
We don't fail to challenge each other.
No, apparently not. Just amongst yourselves.
How can we do this better?
Right?
How can we make
Yeah.
it more efficient?
I mean, and the feeling that I get just kind of in this time that we've shared together and just kind of the experience of the building is that you're getting ready for a next big jump, a bigger jump. And it's almost like when you take a huge step and then you just stop and catch your breath for a second and just get your bearings again, and then you go and you're ready to jump again. It feels like that's where you are right now. It's like just finally catching the breath and getting your footing here, and then you're gonna do another great big leap forward.
That's very astute, and I can honestly tell you from our operations side, that's exactly where we are.
Yeah.
So one of the great challenges and successes is the success we had. So moving here and getting 6.1 million pounds out the door brought new challenges because our staff aren't used to a warehouse this size. We still have a lot we can learn to be more efficient, and how can we do this better? One of the things we've identified is, why are we storing product in this part of the warehouse? Maybe we can do it here so we can reduce the amount of time it takes to get the food from A to B and C to D, and how many times are we touching the product? And let's touch it one less time so that we can touch more food. So it's new challenges because we took that big leap into this bigger facility. We were able to do more. Now we need to reevaluate and look for those efficiencies on how can we do this better, to what Nupur was just saying. Let's get better at this system so that we're now ready for that next step and learn from that. We're really fortunate, however, that being part of the Feeding America network of food banks, we have access to a wealth of knowledge.
I was just wondering
So
about that.
yes, and I just a few weeks ago I was at Indiana's largest food bank, which is Gleaners down in Indianapolis.
Okay.
They have a very similar story to us. They're just bigger, but they went from a smaller facility to a much bigger facility with a leaky roof, and had to figure out how to make things happen. It was very interesting to hear. But there was so much to learn on how their operations grew and some of the pitfalls they fell into, and some of the successes that they identified that we can maybe leverage and replicate here in Northwest Indiana. And that's great that we have access not only to those sister food banks that are members of Feeding America, but that everybody's willing to help each other.
Yes.
The other CEOs and executive directors, the other operations managers, the other donor development people, everybody is willing to say, hey, how can I help you out? Matter of fact, I think we have a call with Gleaners tomorrow to go over, hey, how are you guys doing this? Because we think we can do this a little bit better. So it's really exciting. We go to a national conference, and it gives us an opportunity to network and to learn. At the end of February, beginning of March, I'm attending the anti-hunger conference over in Washington, D.C., where we're actually going to lobby congressional leaders on bills that are important to fighting hunger in the United States. So it's access to all of that is gives us an ability to bring back that knowledge. Right. And integrate it into what we're doing here in Northwest Indiana.
I mean, do you find that other food banks and the resources that you're talking about, that they're cut the way you are as well, with the commitment and the passion? That might be why that's happening? Or?
Yes, for the most part. And it's as simple as sending out an email. So they have different emails, like network CEOs, network financial leaders, network human resources. It's as simple as putting your question out there. Yeah. And whoever puts out the question collects all the data. And then shares it with the team. Nice. And the response is amazing. It's amazing. It's just, and it's a big relief. To know that there are those people like you. Somebody might have the answer if you don't, and they're willing to help. They're willing to share, and it's coming from what they are doing, which is similar to what you are doing. So it's not that far off. In their answers, you don't have to kind of customize it to your need. It might already be customized. So it's amazing.
I love that there was another organization with Vicky Rook. It's like having an older brother or an older sister. They kind of
indeed
it is. Yes, they can bring you along.
Right. And it was fun to watch how. I mean, again, they are a much larger organization than we are. Even their facility is just massive compared to this. But you can take those lessons and scale it. Sure. And implement it here. And I mean, even where their partner agencies pick up their food, it's all an indoor dock system that people drive in, they get their food, and they drive out, and there's no weather issues or anything. And I thought, oh, that's cool. And so I was looking, well, we've got space on the side here. We could do almost like a carport, And so, then the wheels started going, and I remembered, we don't have the money for that. So we'll have to table it.
Not yet. Let's put it on our list.
Right.
Are you guys in a position where you can assist somebody who's coming up along just a few steps behind you? Have you had that opportunity?
Yes, actually, I was going to speak to that recently. I don't remember the name of the food bank, but somebody reached out to me, and they wanted the information on how we did the construction ourselves and moved ourselves, and what did it take. So she sent me a questionnaire that I haven't really opened yet, because this email came late Friday, and I responded back that send me your questions, and I'll be happy to answer. And I'm very excited to open that questionnaire and put my answers down, so that whatever little knowledge that we have acquired, that if we can impart and help them, that will be a big deal. And it's, again, satisfying. Just like when the community recognizes you, when your peers recognize you, when another sister food bank needs you, it's working together. It's making a difference together. Yeah. It's the togetherness that's important. that you believe in the mission and you're in it for the right reasons, and you're going to support each other through it.
Well, and the acknowledgement that you are making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is
all of that, Terry, very much.
Well, I want to thank you both. This has been an amazing interview, and you'll just see lots more of me. So be prepared for that. I want to thank everybody who's been tuning in. You've been listening to WVLP at 103.1 FM, also live streaming at WVLP.org. Today's show, again, brought to you by Ryan Eberhardt from Diamond Residential Mortgage. If you need some financing, purchase or refinance a house, give him a call. He's a great human being. His number is area code 219-707-8429, and his office is at 350 Northland Drive in Valparaiso. Ryan, thank you. Victor, Poor, thank you so much for a great interview.
Thank you, Terry. We appreciate.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate this time.
Absolutely.
We'll see you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.